March 4th, 22. In the stillness of early morning, the small town of Kamas, Utah lay asleep beneath a cold mountain sky. With a population of barely 2,500, Kamas was the kind of place where neighbors waved from their porches, and crime was something people watched on television, not something that unfolded on their own streets. On the edge of town stood a large home on Willow Court. Most of the house was dark. Only a faint glow flickered from an upstairs window. At exactly 3:22 a.m., emergency dispatch received a frantic call from a woman struggling to catch her breath. Between sobs, she told the operator her husband wasn't breathing. Paramedics were dispatched immediately. The situation was logged as a medical emergency. An unconscious adult male. 8 minutes later, first responders entered the master bedroom. Near the foot of the bed lay 39-year-old Eric Rickens. He was unresponsive. His skin was cold to the touch. No pulse. Despite aggressive life-saving measures, Eric was pronounced dead at 3:36 a.m. At first glance, nothing appeared suspicious. No forced entry. No visible injuries. No signs of a struggle. The preliminary assumption: sudden cardiac arrest. But what seemed like a tragic natural death would soon unravel into one of Utah's most shocking criminal investigations. And at the center of it all was Eric's wife, Corey Rickens. Kamas is a community built on familiarity. Families attend the same churches for generations. Business owners know their customers by name. Gossip travels faster than traffic. The Rickens family fit perfectly into that picture. Eric Rickens was widely respected. A Utah native, he built a successful construction company specializing in custom stonework. Known for his discipline and work ethic, he personally oversaw projects and earned a reputation for reliability. He loved the outdoors, especially hunting, and often traveled internationally for big game trips. Friends described him as dependable, structured, and protective of his family. But Eric's life hadn't always been easy. In 2011, he lost his first wife in a tragic car accident. The grief nearly broke him. For years, he buried himself in work. Then, in 2013, he married Corey. At first, they appeared inseparable. They had 3 sons, a comfortable home, financial success. From the outside, they embodied the American dream. But behind closed doors, cracks were forming. Unlike Eric's cautious financial philosophy, Corey was ambitious and bold. After leaving a traditional administrative career, she entered the world of entrepreneurship. Eventually, she launched a luxury real estate business focused on high-end properties near Park City. She believed in leverage, in scaling fast, in taking big risks for bigger rewards. Eric believed in slow growth and financial security. Over time, their differences turned into arguments. Then came the discovery that changed everything. Eric learned that more than $200,000 had disappeared from shared accounts. Loans had been taken out against property without his knowledge. For a man who valued order and transparency, this felt like betrayal. Still, on social media, Corey projected perfection: designer homes, smiling children, polished family photos. But behind the curated image was mounting financial pressure. The breaking point came when Corey pushed to purchase a $2 million home in Park City. Eric refused. That disagreement marked the beginning of something darker. In late 2021 and early 2022, Eric began experiencing unexplained medical episodes while traveling in Greece. He became violently ill after drinking something prepared by Corey. Doctors attributed it to food poisoning. Eric wasn't convinced. On Valentine's Day 2022, Corey made him a sandwich. Shortly after eating it, he reportedly felt numbness and struggled to breathe. Thankfully, he carried in a epinephrine pen for severe allergies. It may have saved his life. Eric confided in close family members. He told them he believed his wife was trying to poison him, but he didn't report it. He feared the impact on his sons. Instead, he began quietly preparing for separation. He updated his will, changed life insurance beneficiaries, removed Corey's financial authority. He was making plans he would never get the chance to finish them. March 3, 2022. Corey later told investigators they were celebrating the purchase of the Park City property. She said she prepared Eric a Moscow Mule cocktail. They talked in the bedroom. Later, she claimed she went to check on one of their sons who had a nightmare and fell asleep in his room around 3 a.m. She said she returned to the master bedroom and found Eric unresponsive. She called for help. At first, her story seemed consistent, but the autopsy told a different story. The medical examiner discovered a lethal concentration of fentanyl in Eric's system, not a trace amount, more than 5 times the lethal dose. This was not pharmaceutical-grade medication. It matched illicitly manufactured fentanyl. Street level toxicologists determined the substance had been ingested orally, likely mixed into food or drink. The last known item Eric consumed, a cocktail prepared by Corey. Within minutes of ingestion, he would have lost consciousness. His respiratory system would have shut down rapidly. There were no defensive wounds because there was no struggle. He never saw it coming. The cause of death was ruled acute fentanyl toxicity. The case shifted instantly from medical tragedy to potential homicide. Corey had claimed she was asleep for much of the critical time window. Phone data told another story. Her device was unlocked multiple times between midnight and 3 o'clock a.m., the exact period experts believe Eric died. Messages were sent. Messages were deleted. Some were permanently wiped. Investigators recovered backups revealing communication with an acquaintance referred to in court documents as CL. In those texts, Corey requested substances using slang terms associated with opioids. Financial records showed to separate $900 payments. Each payment closely aligned with one of Eric's medical episodes. The pattern was impossible to ignore. The morning after Eric's death, Corey called a locksmith to open the family safe. She appeared anxious and rushed. What she didn't know, Eric had changed the combination. Investigators also recovered deleted internet searches, including fatal fentanyl dosage calculations, symptoms of overdose, whether poison can be detected after cremation. Each search added to the growing image of premeditation. In 2023, 1 year after Eric's death, Corey published a children's book titled Are You With Me? The story centered on a young boy coping with the loss of his father. She appeared on national media discussing grief, resilience, and what she called the 3 C's: connection, continuity, and care. The release date, March 5th, 1 day after the anniversary of Eric's death. But investigators later confirmed she had hired a third-party company to produce the book from an outline she provided. While she promoted healing publicly, law enforcement was finalizing her arrest. On May 8, 2023, Corey Rickens was arrested at her home in CrimeX. She was charged with aggravated murder and additional financial crimes. Bail was denied. The judge cited the severity of the charges and risk factors. The woman who had portrayed herself as a grieving widow now stood accused of orchestrating her husband's death. The town of Commas was stunned. For over a year, residents had mourned alongside her. Now they questioned everything. Eric's construction company closed. The family home was lost. Their 3 sons were placed in the care of relatives. The book was removed from many platforms. And the Rickens name became synonymous with betrayal. The legal process continues. Prosecutors argue the evidence forms a clear chain: financial motive, acquisition of illicit substances, suspicious medical incidents, digital searches, lethal toxicology findings. The defense maintains her innocence. Ultimately, a jury will decide her fate, but for a quiet town in Utah, the illusion of safety has already been shattered. Because sometimes the most dangerous secrets are hidden behind the most perfect doors.